Howdy, I'm Pat Stoker. I'm the director of the Academic Resource Center here. I started out as a tutor coordinator. I was an academic advisor in a previous life. I was a drill sergeant in a previous life. I'm going to be a paramedic in a future life. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm almost 50. So I heard about EAB. It was like mentioned in late 15, early 16, and my role in it was always going to be kind of, I never knew what it was. I just heard her talking about it. And then the fall of 16, she was prodding me toward ideas of, well, how are we going to implement it in the Academic Resource Center? And then by spring of 15, we were kicking the idea around of just doing a little bit, just getting like 1 or 2 tutors and doing it. And then I did something I did as a drill sergeant a lot, which people love so much. So we implemented it in spring of 2017. It was supposed to be a soft launch, a couple of classes, a couple of tutors that had a particular niche subject so they wouldn't get overwhelmed. And then spring break hit, and I was bored, and I didn't go anywhere on spring break, so I'm like, hell with it. Everybody's going to do it. So 39 tutors' calendars were changed from a Gmail calendar, which is what I used, to EAB. We use Gmail because this campus never got around to using TutorTrack, and we didn't have a good scheduling software when I was originally hired. I had a very vague and broad left and right limit as far as what I could do, and I tried to do it with a number of different calendars. Google actually ended up being the more stable, but I had to be very creative with identifying the customer so I didn't violate FERPA. Minimal training, tutors are required to use EAB. They came back from spring break and literally told, forget your Gmail accounts. You're using this. And surprisingly, services actually improved despite training on the fly. I was training myself during the fall, or during the spring break. They got back, I'm like, you're doing it the Army way. I love it. And they adapted pretty well. Sorry about that. There's a previous slide function.
Oh, but just back arrow.
Okay.
On the keyboard.
Oh. I'm Google illiterate, believe it or not. All right, so from 11 to 20 March, we use the Gmail calendar, which is kind of our historical way of doing things. We serve 221 students between that time frame. That's individual customers, not repeat customers, but individual customers. Total number of appointments up to that time frame was 1,085 appointments for our tutoring center. I have 39 tutors. No-shows was 129, which when you look at the bigger number, that doesn't seem too bad. When you do the math, it comes to 11% of no-shows. When we had no-shows in the past, we would have to send an email out to them saying, you have no-show for this appointment. If you no-show for another one, you have to meet with Dr. Stoker to get put back on the calendar. So EAB, when I rolled it out, kind of brutally, we served between the end of the semester, we saw 220 students. Appointments was 1,474, and no-shows was 79, which brought our no-show rate down to 5.3%. EAB is great because you check it, you don't show, you can go in and make excused no-shows, unexcused no-shows, coordinator override, whatever you want to do to it. And the minute you hit that, they get the reminder, which leads to other problems with EAB, but we'll get there in a minute. 43% reduction in the number of no-shows for tutoring appointments. That is humongous, because it was killing us. We had some tutors that would not return the next semester because they were getting so many no-shows. And a lot of times, students will sign up for tutoring to get a dean off their back, not necessarily to get academic support. Some students will sign up for tutoring and believe that by signing up for tutoring, the osmosis is going to kick in, they're going to get smarter. In reality, you actually have to go to the tutoring session. So some of the challenges we faced was overcoming culture. In the fire service, we say there are 2 things people don't like: the way things are and change. Guess what? Higher ed's no different. Your student workers are no different. They get used to something, they'll complain about it. You'll think it's the worst thing in the world until you change that something. and then they'll be very resistant to it. We literally learn by doing, and we stumbled and made a lot of mistakes. There's some round numbers in my statistics here, because when I first used EAB, I used him, Jordan back there as a ghost. I used Nikki as a ghost. We created appointments and deleted appointments to try to figure things out. It was a very hectic spring break. Automatic reminders. They hit at unpredictable times, 2 o'clock in the morning. We got some complaints from that, so now when they do their tutor contract, you may get a reminder at an inconvenient time. Put a pillow over your phone or learn to sleep heavier. Faulty information. Reminders are being sent to phone numbers on record in banner. Students don't enjoy reminders at 2 a.m. Their parents don't enjoy reminders at 2 a.m. And students really don't enjoy it when their parents get the reminder at 2 a.m. Especially if they've been hiding the fact that we're in academic difficulty from their parents. So what we do now is when we get those students, we remind them, if there is something not accurate, is this your phone number? If not, you need to go to the registrar's office or go into Duck Tracks and try to fix it. I think some cases, I think you have to go to the registrar's office to get it flipped in banner. So the first full academic year that we completely used EAB was this academic year, the fall 17 to the spring 18 academic year. Fall 17, full rollout, SI and tutors. We've renamed SI to be Part C for some copyright thing, or some issues between what an SI session is and what we actually have to do now. And UNKC is a little bit picky about that, but we did a full rollout during the summer. We experimented with the SI program, and we used one of my graduate workers, Austin Davis. He works for the biology department now. We used his anatomy phys section as a check on how to swipe in. We bought like 2 swipe card readers, and then once we figured it out, we bought like 50.
What's the we thing?
What's that? What's we?
Okay, just
We. A lot of her. But we figured it out. And we managed in the fall semester a total of 3,687 individual appointments for, again, you're talking between 35 and 39 tutors. 308 aftermath students. And I believe Nikki's going to be talking about aftermath later on today. It's another intervention program we have. We used it to track attendance for all SI sessions, and we still kept our paper backups, and we taught our SI leaders how to go in and manually check them in case the swipe card reader went buggy, or the USB ports on the sides of computers in the classroom have been used so many times they're not functional. Spring semester, tutors are required to see more than 1 student per session. This is a byproduct, and I want to talk to you about this. This is a byproduct of something that happened in the fall. There was a thing that I was informed about in the fall I didn't know about called the Survivor Advocacy Program. And I had a unique population of students coming in that could not see particular tutors. Not because that tutor did anything wrong to them, but because they suffered something terribly traumatic in life and they can't. It's just post-traumatic stress, whatever. So I met with the advocate for that guy named Bill Alexander on this campus. And at first I said, well, if you could tell me the students' names, I can make sure. And he goes, I can't. I absolutely cannot tell you their names. So what I did is I told all my tutors, they had the fall break. They came back from fall break and go, guess what? You're all now tutoring with 1 person in a session. And they're like, you'll be all right. Drink water. 3,959 students so far, and we still have about a week and a half left in the semester. These are student appointments. Seamless transition from fall. We didn't really have any hiccups from the tutoring side of the house with EAB. I was expecting some pushback, having dealt with the pushback about changing to group appointments. They're fine. They're business as usual. We don't even have customers complaining about the group appointments. The way your tutoring program is a little bit different than ours. Ours started out as all appointment only, which it still is. I do a holistic when I recruit. I look for a person that has more than one skill set. I don't just recruit for applied underwater calculus. I look to see their entire transcript, what they're qualified to tutor, and then I ask them what they're comfortable tutoring out of that qualified batch. What it does is it enables me with 30 people to cover about 60 subjects, and it's hugely helpful. No EAB outages, to my knowledge, as it affects my program. I haven't had any EAB outages this semester, which is great. The spring semester, they had like a 12-hour outage. It gave everybody a small heart attack. Coincidentally, so did Prezi, which it's like the same week. Prezi failed, Amazon failed, EAB failed. It was a monumental crisis. Minimal human error mistakes. We're getting better. It's muscle memory. You have to practice. You have to work on how you put your stuff into the system. And this bar keeps, how do you make this thing disappear?
Don't use the mouse, just use
Okay. Like I said, EABs enable us to effectively manage over 8,000 students since we started using it. Or 8,000 appointments rather, since we started using it. So it's great. I'm a fan of it. I'm not trying to evangelize for it by any stretch, but I'm one of those people, if you give me something new, I'll try it. Rather than people complain about something, I'm like, let me see what I can do with it. Worst things have happened. Why did I do that? All right, some parting thoughts and words of wisdom. Don't keep kicking the can down the road, use the product. If you're you're just getting experience with the product, or your colleagues are just starting to get the product, don't kick it down the road. Fall into it. You're not going to break it. Don't be afraid to make some mistakes. Just be prepared to apologize to people. Minimize persons who make inputs into your particular sphere of EAB. So I have my graduate workers and my schedulers. They're the ones that handle the appointments. They're the ones that handle adding availability. I don't decentralize that down to the tutor level because I have a bunch of employees and that would be a nightmare. And these people, because they crosstalk with one another between the two offices, they have a very good kind of intuitive system of fixing problems as they pop up. I don't even have to, I really haven't had to work this semester. They do it. And they do a great job. Remind students to update their official contact information with the registrar's office. Honestly, that should be kind of a muscle memory thing, whether you're an advisor, whether you're a tutor coordinator, whatever capacity. If you have interactions with students, especially freshmen, remind them. You're an adult now. It's your information. You take ownership of it, you keep it up to date. I'm about to make this big move. I've got to call the Army to let them know I'm moving because I'm retired. I have to change my insurance. It's the adult world. You have to do all this stuff, and you have to constantly stay on top of it. Use the plethora of reports available to you. The biggest thing I love about EAB, the numbers I pulled up this morning, and I'm operating on no energy. The reports are super easy. They come up in an Excel document. Just remember to save it as a workbook rather than the original file that pops up. Otherwise, you get a bunch of jumbled code that's useless. But use the reports available to you. We use the no-show reports to make sure, one, our tutors are doing their job and actually checking the appropriate boxes. We use the reports to help verify payroll in some instances. I use it for recruiting. That's how I recruit new employees. And I check grades. You're talking about being able to look at student information in EAB. My employees, their employment's contingent on their grade point average. I've won a few jobs on campus where you can be terminated if your GPA drops. So I use that to make sure my employees are staying on top of it. I've always had an attitude as a director that you're a student first. You're not helping me, and I'm certainly not helping you if your grades are tanking. And again, I use it for recruiting. It's much better. I had this very convoluted access document I inherited that spoke with Banner. And if you made one tiny semantic error on that document, it was useless. You wouldn't get information. EAB makes it very easy to go in, push a few buttons, set the presets, hit send, and it will show you everybody in that list that you're looking for. So if I'm looking for somebody that can tutor biochem, I can look at biochem, I can look at who's enrolled in this semester. It's so much easier than what I was working with. And I think that's it. Do I have any questions, folks? Yes.
The information on like who's showing up for SI or for tutoring, is that information, can that go to the deans, I'm wondering?
Yeah, that's part of the reason we no longer call SI.
Okay,
The SI program, I went to their training, the supervisor training is very specific. It's copyrighted and marketed by UMKC. They love it, they own it. That's great. Unfortunately, last semester we were approached by certain needs requiring us to provide information of attendance. So now it's no longer anonymous, I can't call it SI.
gotcha.
So, any other questions? Wow, that good. Yes.
So I work in the department where we have our tutoring, and we also have an SI program as well, and we're using it. And we have about 60 something tutors, and we do like a walk-in and thing. So you said that yours is only by appointment.
Yeah, I don't have the budget to hire people to sit in the office and wait for customers to show up, so they make the appointments, they meet their customer at the tutoring office, and the other problem with the drop-in appointments is it limits the number of subjects you can cover. It really does. It's hard to have that menu of subjects and have a center where people can come by. That helps.
I was just curious as to how it's working with the appointments. So you're saying that it's working fine, you're not having any issues with?
No, the way it works is, so I have a tutor that tutors from 9 to 10, and they can tutor biochem, they can tutor calculus, they can tutor what have you. If a person comes in and signs up for a 9 to 10 biochem, that 9 to 10 block is biochem. So other people that need biochem tutoring can get that appointment, but not the calculus and the other subjects. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Are you still only doing appointments? They have to come in to make the
They
appointment?
have to come in or call to make the appointment. I don't do a kiosk on the appointment. It's kind of hard to manage the way my system's designed. I don't have a physical space like a normal fishbowl. Like a lot of colleges have a fishbowl education center. They have the nice alcove rooms and all that stuff. And we have to go over a tutor contract when they sign up for their first appointment, so they understand that we're a CLRA accredited program. We have rules. It lets them know what our tutors can and cannot do as well. Any other questions? Awesome.
Thank you.